I'm soaked through. Still, I mustn't complain. Fresh water is, after all, a vital ingredient in the art of making Scotch whiskey. Aqua vita, or in Gaelic, Ushkabea, the water of life. Another vital ingredient is barley, which is steeped in water and brought here to the malting house to germinate. The malt man turns the barley, allowing it to breathe and sprout. Can you no smell that? That, my friends, is the sweet smell of malted barley being dried here in the kiln. More specifically, it's the smell of burning peat. Now, peat is a young form of coal and another factor in determining a whiskey's unique, final flavour. Is it just me? Or is it getting a wee bit hot in here? Oh, it's yourself. I was just having a wee breather. A bit like the malt here in the malt store, you might say. It's, waiting. It's biding its time, building up its strength a wee bit. Oh well, that's it. Onwards and upwards. Well, downwards anyway. This is the milling machine. This is where the malt gets rudely awakened, crushed, ground, and pulverized into what's known in the trade as grist. It's awfully noisy in here, but it's all part of an ongoing process, all a means to an end. Oh, it gets everywhere, this stuff. Oh, shit, biscuit. This is the mash tun, a container where we mix together the purest Scottish water with our grist from the mill. The sugar in the mixture is dissolved, producing a sweet liquid known as wort. The wort is then cooled, ready for the next stage. The residue left in the mash tun can be used to make animal feed. The wort might not look that special, but let me assure you, this will become pure liquid gold. So what, I hear you ask, is the one magical ingredient which helps turn a malty, sugary wort into something with, well, let's say, a wee bit more of a kick to it? Well, the answer is right here. This is yeast. The importance of this microscopic yet explosive living organism simply cannot be underestimated. Amazing! This is the wash pan, where yeast meets what and sugar turns to alcohol in a process known as fermentation. Even maelstrom of heat and foam. And if the whole thing threatens to get out of hand and overspill, don't switch your blades above. Keep the whole thing in check. And don't be taking too deep a breath in here, by the way. The vapors produced can dare pack a punch. The alcohol content at this point is still too low and needs to be increased. We do this during distillation. Now, pay attention. The liquid is heated in a pot still, and because alcohol boils at a lower temperature, it separates from the water. The vapor rises up the neck and is cooled and condensed back into a liquid by a copper coil immersed in cold water, known as the worm. Here we see the cooling and condensing process in action. The liquid is now known as low wine, but it needs to be distilled again to further increase its alcohol content, and that takes place here in the spirit still. Each distillery has its own unique shape of copper pot still. Another factor in ensuring that each distillery produces its own unique flavour of Scotch whiskey. By now, the liquid is so strong it has to be kept under lock and key by customs and excise. Here in the spirit safe, the still man weaves his magic by judging precisely when to send the first part of the run, or 4 shots, and the last part of the run, or feint, back to be distilled again. Meanwhile, the middle cut, or heart of the run, is sent to the spirit receiver. But it's still not Scotch whiskey. Oh no, not for a long while yet. These casks won't see the light of day for at least 3 years, some not for 12 or even 50 years. During this period of maturation, a whiskey's unique final flavour is further enhanced by the wood of the cask that it's stored in. Its clear colour changed to a golden hue. What was once nothing more than barley and water magically matures into Scotch whiskey. Ah, the sweet smell of evaporating whiskey. Up to 2% each year just disappears. The angels share, they call it. Ah well, I'm away to join the angels myself. Slanjava.
First of all, they would start with 70 to 80% of that green whiskey, the very light stuff that I mentioned before. And then they would top it off with 20 to 30% of their chosen single malt to help give it some extra flavour. Now, if they wanted their blend to have a little bit of citrus or a little bit of fruity flavour to it, they could have the single malts from the lowlands or Speyside regions. But if they wanted a little bit more complexity, maybe a little bit more full-on flavour, they could have their single malts from the Highlands or even Campbelltown. But keep in mind, they would have to use those Islay whiskies very, very sparingly. Now, being so powerful and so fiery, if you use too much of an Islay single malt in a blend, it'll just overpower everything else. But ladies and gentlemen, the key to making a great single malt whiskey is that it has a few unique characteristics which set it apart from everything else. But the key to making a great blended whiskey is bringing all those flavours together and combining everything so it works in perfect harmony. But now to explain a little bit more about blended whiskies, I'll pass you back over to our resident ghost.
From the deep land so dreamy, and return with the spoil to the path of my dearie. Will you go lassie, go. And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain tide, all along the blue mountain heather. We go, lassie, go. If my true love she'll not come, then I'll surely find another to fog wild mountain tide, all along the blue mountain heather. We'll go, lassie, go, and we'll all go together to fog wild mountain tide, all along the blue mountain heather. We'll go, lassie, go.